Go ahead and call the June council meeting in order. Roll call.
Peterson.
Here.
Cruikshank.
Here.
Schmansky.
Here.
Whack.
Here.
Schultz.
Here.
Wenzel. Here. Hamilton.
Here.
Boone.
Here. First is approval of last month's minutes.
So cool.
Second. There's a motion and a second to approve the previous council minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is the treasurer's report.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the treasurer's report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is citizens forum. We have some citizens here. Turn it over.
Most of you probably heard that on Facebook there's people who are not very happy about what's happening in Nekoosa with the drugs. I live at 505 North Street. Across the street from there is the 3rd Street Apartments. It's a massive problem. The police are there constantly. It's not just addicts, it's dealers too. I have 6 children. They're 12, 11, 8, 5, 4, and 1. They can't play outside when 2 SUVs are present. We've lived there and been paying property taxes here for 13 years. It doesn't really seem fair that after 13 years, my children can't play outside in their own yard without there being not just drug activity, but kids being taken away from their parents. One morning, I couldn't even leave for work because there was all of these police officers plus social services. We have Nekoosa, Wood County, and Grand Rapids out there. There's another gentleman in that building who apparently, a Hispanic man, walked in and said somebody to another police department was coming to shoot him. We had Adams County there all day one Sunday. Now we're going to start with the violence. What's going to happen? I mean, are we going to turn into the south side of Chicago where my kids are going to be the innocent victim? We need to do something. And now I've talked to many of the Nekoosa police officers and I understand that they're doing everything that they can. However, what I'm hoping you guys can do is pass some kind of ordinance, just like Stevens Point, just like Wisconsin Rapids, with the nuisance. You know, these landlords, they're not being held responsible by anybody. Nothing is happening. My brother-in-law is a police officer in Milwaukee. Every time there's a nuisance call, the landlord or the property owner for drugs gets charged $200. I'm not exactly sure how the Wisconsin Rapids city is going to be putting theirs together, but I'm hoping you guys can do something. It's an extra tool that the police department has. It's something else where we can bring in the property owners and sit them down and tell them this is not responsible behavior. I don't have drug activity at my home. I bet none of you do either. So why is it okay for my neighbors to do that? Why is it okay for my children not to be able to be outside? It's a huge problem. And we all know what's next. I think we've all seen an episode of Cops at least once. We know they're going to start shooting each other. My kids are going to be in that path of that bullet. I can't protect them from that. I protect them from everything else. I can't protect them from that. I need you guys to help me protect them from that. And it's not just me. From the other people that I've spoken to in town, it's everywhere. And I understand that we can't, just one person, stop the drugs from coming in. I understand that it's the supply and demand. I understand that the police officers can't just go bust down the door. But what tools can we give the police officers? What tools can we give the citizens? And then, of course, you guys, to stop this. It's not the people who own the properties that are all like us that's the problem. The landlords, they do not care. They take the first guy that comes in, they're not doing background checks, they're not doing anything. They throw them cash and they just simply don't care. They don't care if my kid gets shot. They don't care that my 12-year-old can't play basketball without seeing people with guns on their hips walking around the apartment complex.
Wow.
They don't care. This is what's happening. I videotaped from my dining room table a drug deal go down and I turned it over to the Nekoosa police. That was my dinner table with my kids. This shouldn't be happening at 6 o'clock at night. They don't even care. They're not doing this behind closed doors. They're doing it out in public for all of us to see, and they're not being stopped. I understand that there are rules and laws and things that have to happen, but what can we do? What can you guys do to help put a stop to it? At the very least, with Wisconsin Rapids passing the law, they're all going to come here, more of them. What are you going to do to stop it? How are we going to stop it? If not stop it, how are we just going to get them out of here? Because quite frankly, after 13 years with 6 kids in one house, we can't afford just to sell and go move into the country, which would be a dream. But unfortunately, it's just not realistic with 6 kids. So what can we do? What can I do? I'm willing to help. You can put cameras on my house if you want to. I'll volunteer if I have to. I don't care. Whatever we need to do to keep my kids safe and all the kids in my neighborhood. And we're asking for help, and yes, I put out flyers. I went door to door. I put it on Facebook, and I'll continue to do that because my kids don't deserve to live like this. We do not live in the south side of Chicago. We chose that. I'm originally from Chicago. I could have gone back. I didn't. I wanted to be here because it was safe, and it was affordable, and it was family friendly. It's not going to be much longer. It's already downhill now. It's not safe for my kids to be there. It's not becoming, it's not family friendly anymore. My kids can't be outside. We can't do anything outside without seeing us. And it's not fair. We love the police force in Nekoosa. My kids think the cops are the coolest thing on the planet. I have 5 boys. They all want to be a police officer. They shouldn't have to watch what they see though. That's not fair. It's not fair to the kids. It's not fair to the citizens. And we need you guys. We put you here. We've elected you to help us. And this is a major issue. What do we need to do? What has to happen? Is it more funds? I know we're going to be putting a narcotics officer from what the last police officer told me on. He told me you had 6 months is what you gave him. We need more than 6 months. Nothing's going to happen in 6 months. One person can't stop it in 6 months. We're going to need maybe a bigger force or more experienced narcotics officers or something. I don't know. I'm just a citizen. I'm a business owner. And then with you guys trying to bring businesses into Nekoosa, do you think they want to come here when it's filled with drugs? Because I can tell you, I've been a business owner for 10 years, they don't. No one's going to want to put a business here when you have drug activity on every single corner. And that's really what you're getting yourselves into. Who's going to want to live like that? I know none of you are going to want to watch it. We shouldn't have to either. That's what I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
But we had discussion a month or so ago. We had a special meeting and we discussed the officer. And we did put it on, or give Sean the permission to do the promotion for 6 months to see if it was going to make any dent. And unfortunately, it comes down to tax dollars.
Raise my taxes.
And that's where our accountant is here tonight to go over our audit from last year and where we're standing with our budget right now. And we could cut a little bit here and there and take some out of the general fund to cover an extra officer for a year or two, but then 3-4 years down the road, where do we sit? We've exhausted the pool of money that we were able to use, and do we put somebody on and then say, okay, 2 years down the road, sorry, we gotta let you go because we can't afford you.
But we should worry about something right now, not 3 to 4
Right.
years from now.
3 to 4 years from now, it may be
What
too
if our kids
late.
could be gone? Something could happen.
Mhm.
I mean, I
You
have
look at the
6
legal-
grandchildren. And my girls, they still
We
come over.
live on
This is right
Crestview
across
and we
the
watched it. We watch it every day. They've been real quiet lately, but the minute they moved into that house, it was nonstop, 24 hours, and we paid it. When you'd see the front porch light come on, that was their open sign, we're open for business. I would watch a gentleman who I approached, and I didn't even know the house sold. And I was cutting grass, and I seen 2 gentlemen walk out of the house with the sign still up, and I approached them and asked them what they were doing in the house. And he told me pretty much just mind my own business on there. Later on that night, this same gentleman shows up and no one's around. It's like he makes a phone call, everybody vacates, he comes in, I'm no dummy, I know what's going on. He doesn't want to be seen bringing the drugs in. So he makes everybody leave the premise. He comes in, he's in there for 10, 15 minutes to a half an hour. We watch this.
If that, it doesn't sign
He brings a bag in, then he makes the phone call. When he leaves, they show up, and then it's another half an hour, 45 minutes for them to cut it up, do whatever they do, and then the light comes on the front porch, and the cars start coming. And it doesn't stop. And Linda lives right next door, and it goes all hours of the night. I've seen them racing down our street.
At 4 o'clock in the morning before I go to work, because they want to play with my dog, and they're barbecuing on the front porch, and that tree is hanging over the property. the garbage is loaded up in the back, the grass isn't cut.
They cut it
And they're
today.
dealing,
Just
and
part of
there's
it.
2 spotters, one on one side of the street,
Yeah.
and one on the other. And as soon as they see the police, they go. They're
Well,
gone.
Let me respond. I can tell you that having a dedicated officer on is going to make a difference, and it has already.
Oh, we have seen it. We have
Yeah.
seen.
We have
and
seen it. We want to
appreciate
thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We've seen a noticeable,
And as far as the nuisance
Change.
ordinance, we already have a nuisance ordinance, but it's not, it's too vague and it's not very well written. So I have a copy of Rapids ordinance, and it's going to be on the agenda for next month. So the tool you're talking about is hopefully going to be in the tool bag soon.
And hopefully that'll work, because we have to start holding people accountable, and they're not being, if I don't cut my grass, you guys will come and find me if I don't shovel my
Exactly.
snow. But if the landlord decides to put, the town drug lord in, that's okay, and we've got to do something and hold them accountable, because it will be, that story you hear from Chicago, the 7-year-old sitting on her couch where she got shot in the head, those will be my kids. I'm across the street. When you sit in my house and watch, they walk with guns.
Oh, my God.
I mean, and trust me, these aren't guys, I'm sure the guns aren't legal, okay? They're not, they're not going deer hunting. It's just a matter of time. I've got video evidence of a drug deal. I mean, the one SUV pulls up, they all surround it, you can watch them hand the drugs over, and you guys do have that. And I know you have limited tools, I know that. There's the confines of the law, but what else can we possibly do to keep my kids safe? I can't keep them safe from this. And it's just really scary. Where do I have to go to keep them safe? And you guys, the Nekoosa police have been amazing. Every time we've called, you've shown up. Even with the videotape, they parked down the street and walked over. I mean, you guys have done everything to protect us, but what else, what tools, what do we need to do, to get this, to keep us safe, really? I mean, I'll do whatever it takes. You need someone to volunteer, I'll do it. You need someone to put cameras on their house, I'm looking into it. Unfortunately, the cameras we need to see into that parking lot at night are extremely expensive. I thought the cameras I had would be good enough, they only see to the end of my driveway. I'll do whatever it takes. You need more probable cause? I've got a bunch of kids with cell phones, we'll keep videoing. We'll keep sending it in. Whatever it is, just tell me what I have to do. In terms of funds, 3 to 4 years is a long time from today in order to come up with the funds for later on. I really find that as kind of an excuse and a cop-out, to be
I
very
don't
honest
think
with
anyone's
you.
copping out here.
But-
We
But
have,
I
no,
think that it's an excuse.
every one of us understand the levity of the situation, and we don't want this to be a drug town. And Sean has brought it to us, we will do what needs to be done. But we may have to sacrifice other services.
I'm
and
willing.
We may have to raise taxes. There have to be things be done.
Yep, I
And it
understand.
includes the involvement of citizens like you're doing now.
Well, I'm
We have-
planning on being here
we all
every
have
single
to run them
month.
out.
You're gonna get to know me very well. I will be here. I'm Italian, I'm a business owner, I have 6 kids. I don't take any garbage in my house, and I'm not gonna take it in town across the street from my house.
Just so
Speaking
you're
of-
aware too, with the tax end of it, you said just raise my taxes. Not that simple.
I know it's not, I really do, I
We
understand that.
can't raise taxes
I know
because of
that.
our governor.
I understand that, but what else can we do? Does it need to be a fundraiser? I'll run it for you. I run a business and 6 children, I have no problem doing that. What do you need from me?
The best
I'll
shot would be
do
a
it.
referendum.
Let's do it.
So,
What can we do? What can I do? You tell me. I will give you my phone number. You tell me what I need to do. I will do it to keep my kids safe.
We have to make sure that they know they're not welcome. But we also have to make sure that no one does anything
No, of course
stupid,
not.
because I don't want someone to get hurt because they're trying to do it on their own. We do hire.
No, I
It's
also
easier
noticed-
said than when you live across from them and they're all ganging out there and
I
you come
understand.
out of your
I-
house to put your
yeah.
garbage away and they're swearing and cussing and
I would
this
have
and that, and
a
it's
very
like,
difficult time keeping myself out of their business too, believe me.
Yeah.
I will tell you, for whatever reason, they're afraid of my husband. I don't know why. My husband comes home, they will scatter and run. He's never said anything to them. He's never even looked in their direction. I think they just don't know what he's going to do. He's a big Wisconsin guy. He's always got big trucks around for his work, but for whatever reason, that seems to scare him. Do we need to move some of the people like that in there? I don't know. How do we get rid of them? Something has to happen, and I really do believe the nuisance ordinance, when it's written correctly, like what Rapids is doing, I really believe that's gonna help. I know a lot of landlords, and I have through business for a number of years. They are scared to death of that nuisance. They were just at the last city council meeting in Wisconsin Rapids having a hissy fit, quite frankly. They know that once that happens, that their game is up. Okay, they can't just take the cash thrown at them, you know, and let them do whatever they want. And quite frankly, that's going to ruin our city. It's ruined many places in Rapids. You can't even go get gas half the time after dark there. That's what's gonna happen here. And it's important to me because I can't protect my kids any other way. So whatever you need from me, I'll do it. I'll put it on Facebook. You want a fundraiser? I'll run it. Whatever you want, I'll do it. Just tell me what to do and how to do it.
Can I ask a question? Has anybody approached the landlords of these buildings to have a heart-to-heart talk with them and say, do you realize what you're doing here?
From what I understand, they have been approached and they won't respond.
I know the owner of the apartments over here, we've had discussions, he's been to a couple of our meetings, and part of the problem is, I think if I remember right, the landlord from 3rd Street lives in Arizona.
Correct.
So,
But remember, if we hit him where it counts in his pocketbook, eventually he's gonna come through.
right,
And maybe $200 isn't enough. Is there a state minimum or maximum on that? Let's make it $400 a drug call. Because quite frankly, and I know you guys are well aware of how many drugs you're taking out of there, and from what I understand, we're not talking about a little bit of weed.
Oh, God,
We're
no.
talking about heroin, meth, and cocaine. These are drugs that do kill people. They're not just killing the people who are using them, but those people eventually kill other people.
Yeah, I'm
And
worried
I
about-
don't want my kids there.
Yeah, I'm more worried about the ones who can't get the money to buy the drugs, and all of a sudden.
And then all of a sudden they're
start
looking at my
stealing,
stuff
start
on my
shooting, start-
property going, I've never had to lock up anything.
Never.
Ever. And now I have to lock up everything. Not that anything has happened, but I've got to be prepared that it won't happen. And, you know, when I've got 15 young men standing out there eyeballing a $50,000 boat with all the gear coming in, and now I got to take my grass off, which is a pain in the butt to do all that, take all my cameras out and all of that, I'm a little bit worried, and now it's interfering with my business, which I travel a lot, and I'm wondering if she's gonna be okay. First time in my life, I grabbed a shotgun and showed her how to load it. First time in my life.
That's right.
I've sat there and said, honey, this is a single barrel shotgun. Somebody comes in here, you don't ask no questions. You point and you shoot. I thought I moved from Milwaukee up here, and I understand you guys got your back against the wall. I'm not blaming you guys at all for any of this. But when I travel, and I travel throughout the Midwest, and I got people from Minnesota going, what the hell's going on in central Wisconsin? It's the heroin capital of the Midwest.
You know, and the thing is, we're not worried about ourselves. We're worried about her, him, her. Everybody else but ourselves. I got Linda across the street. I mean, I talk to her every day. I haven't talked to her so much because she's crying. She's worked up because, oh my God, she can't. So it's everything. I mean, they're garbage. What about their garbage? They don't have garbage pickup, but I know you guys know that, and I understand that. But I
hold
see-
on.
We watched the
See,
gentleman come
that guy-
pick their garbage up today.
Yeah.
Now, why is he picking up their
No, it was a
garbage?
big, it was
Take
a
it
big
away.
guy. He
I
picked it up.
know we've got to keep the meeting moving, but know that we want to be on the front end of this and not let it get out of control. And we know more than,
Yeah.
you know.
I do have a
what's
funny
going on.
story.
And
I am a film guy. I was
Yeah.
shooting some film of just some time-lapse sky footage. I brought the camera up. There was 10 of them there. When that camera came out, they split so fast. And I wasn't even shooting them. I was
They were
shooting the
gone for a couple
sky.
days then.
They didn't show back up. So if you need to put cameras in my yard and
Or at
point them
my
right at their house,
Or mine.
I'm not scared.
I'm literally across the street.
Is there anything that we can do besides just call you guys every time they
Exactly.
pull up in front of our house? And
We're right on Wood Avenue, and we get them pulling up in front of my house. I have 3 teenage boys. My oldest son, he was a big part of the skate park here. He wanted something here for that, to get away from the Rapids area because so many drugs were at that skate park. So he wanted somewhere safe, but now it's right across the street from my house. All the time, these people are parking in front of my house and walking over there, and there's nothing we can do about it. All hours of the night, but what are we gonna do, like they say? When they decide, hey, we don't have this money for this high, this looks like an easy target house, go for it. You know, we got our children to think about too. It's not just our safety, it's all the kids of the neighborhood and the kids that are supposed to be our future that we're trying to protect. You know, so we all need to definitely know what we have to do here to keep our children safe. Because that's my biggest concern. There are so many kids here in the Nekoosa area, so many. And that's being offered every direction they're going.
Well, I guess, basically, I'd say
They'll
just
sit in the
please
car
keep
while
calling.
one person goes to
Keep
the
calling,
house.
keep calling, keep calling. You know, I looked up today, and I know you all have been in the talk with us multiple times, but there aren't any complaints for the address that you're talking about when things are happening. So we've got to know right now.
You'd rather have it that way for us to call. You're not going to come to our
Absolutely.
home.
And I think,
Just
and
call,
I'm glad
you
you
can call
addressed that.
anonymously, and anybody can
That's
call
what,
anonymously.
that's what I think
That's what
everybody's worried about. They don't want the cops showing up at our house going, they're the ones who called the police.
They're in and out too
But it
quick.
doesn't help
Right.
after the fact or the next day. We
Right.
have to know right now, so.
I went door to door with flyers in my whole neighborhood. I had 100 flyers that went out to come to this meeting tonight. Do you know what I was told? They're scared.
Scared.
They're
A lot of them are.
afraid. They're afraid that they're gonna be attacked. I'm not afraid of that,
That's
to
why
be
we're
quite
here.
honest with you.
Yeah, these guys
I-
are cowards and
That and I
you
just,
know,
I've
there's
never
a lot
done
of people in
that.
this town
Yeah.
who know how to handle themselves in situations.
You know-
You go out, you hunt, you fish and all that crap. These people are cowards preying on our
Yes.
kids and it's,
But my neighbors are scared. My next door neighbor who was there the day the police officer told me to come here and told me the only thing I could do is get all the citizens together and come here and talk to you, which is what I'm gonna try to do. And until it's fixed, you're gonna get to know me real well, so just to let you know. But, you know, they're afraid. And they're not even willing to come here because the one woman said to me, well, what if one of them see me? It's really hard to explain to them that generally drug dealers don't come anywhere near where there might be a police officer. However, you know,
They don't come to too many city
It's
halls.
understandable.
I don't know.
But it's
I was at the bar
understandable.
where they tried to sell an alderman heroin one night, so, which I called the police on.
That was,
Yeah.
Just keep calling and continue to watch and let us know what's happening. You know, that's how we build cases and get things done, so.
Do you want us to call if there's a lot of cars there? Do you want us to call,
If
what are we
something
supposed to call
doesn't seem
on?
normal, I mean, you live there for
They're in there
years and
like
years.
5 or 10
Something
minutes.
doesn't seem
I mean,
normal,
they go
Yeah.
all
then
hour. By the time
write
you
down
get
license
there,
plate number.
We've been doing that.
Now they're
Yeah.
switching plates on the different
Yeah, we caught
vehicles.
them, we
They're
told you guys that they were switching license plates on vehicles.
And there's still a vehicle in the garage on Crestview.
And it's, yeah.
And they backed up today and took a bunch of
I have
crap
a
out.
question. They've been parking their vehicle on the sidewalk, between the sidewalk and their front porch,
And on my front lawn.
and on her front lawn. They just drive right
We'll
up.
call.
Okay, so that's
Okay.
stuff that you can, okay.
Start doing that, okay.
Do they,
Okay.
do they have a number to get directly in touch with you, Cheryl?
Well,
I mean, are you folks using the 911?
We're using 911
No, I got the number for
non-emergency.
non-emergency.
Yeah, non-emergency, and then
That's the
going
best
through
that's
that.
what I've called.
Okay.
thanks for coming in, though.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, if you have any more questions, I mean, probably the best place to have this discussion is at the Public Safety Committee meeting, which will probably, is usually the first Tuesday of the month, in the evening.
I think we'll have, that's my meeting, and it should be the 5th of July, and it starts at 5 o'clock.
Okay. Here,
Yeah.
Here, right here.
Yeah, all meetings are right
You're welcome, go.
perfect. You'll see me.
I mean, there ain't no way to shut off water or anything like that, is there? Accidental line breakage or something, I don't know.
Not on camera.
Thanks,
Okay,
guys.
thank you.
So,
Okay, Mike.
yeah, see you later.
Okay.
You just like to go over meetings?
John.
Well, yours is a little jollier than that.
Well, again, this presentation is really twofold. The first part's going to be kind of going through the audit results. Again, Monica from Hawkins Ash, due to some scheduling issues and conflicts, wouldn't have been able to make it here till I think August. So all of us got together, all parties got together and said, hey, I'll just do it and incorporate it right in my kind of budget update here. So kind of all related to the same thing, where you ended 2015, and then quickly we're going to transition right into where you are right now. And obviously some different issues as far as financing and so forth, so it's very good to kind of touch base here mid-year, which we've never done before, and see what we're doing, see how you're doing, so. Yeah, what documents do you have? You have the actual bound
We've
document?
got, yeah, that big one and the summary.
She issued a summary financial report. You have that as well, great. And I'm not going to go through this word for word, because a lot of the information is incorporated into mine, especially some of the fund balance information. So I'll just kind of cherry pick here on some things. The first page here is just their letter. Second page is their combined balance sheet. I'm going to go through this data. It's a little bit easier to read in a graph form, so I won't spend a lot of time. Here she's presenting, the auditor is presenting the general fund balance, and hard to see here, it's a little bit big on the slide, but you have 13, 14, and 15, the red being the unassigned fund balance, and the blue being the total fund balance. You can see your total fund balance there is increasing. I'm going to show you a slide in about 5 minutes or so that really shows the last 13 years or 12 years, so it will make a little bit more sense, a little bit easier to read, but the same numbers here. They're presenting the revenues. Again, I'll go through that a little bit. And then also the breakdown, general fund revenue. Just basically how your revenues are broken up. Not surprising. Taxes, intergovernmental, and charges for services are pretty much 2/3, if not more, of your revenues. So again, most governments, most cities are exactly the same. No surprises there. Switches gears to expenditures, and again, I'll go through a much more detailed analysis, so I'll skip that for now. You can see the breakdown, public works, public safety, and then general government being, again, about that 2/3 of your expenditures. Switches gears here to the water and sewer. This I will go through, because I did not present this in summary form. You can see the water utility comparison here, charges for services for the year, $1,042,000, compared to operating expense of $644,000. So you have operating income there of $397,000, just short of $400,000. You take off your transfers and your non-operating expenses, and you're left with about $44,000 of an increase of the water utility. So a little bit down. It's better than last year. Obviously, you lost some money last year in the water, but still a little bit less than you'd like it. Your rates are set to generate a little bit higher than this. I'll cover that a little bit as far as your rate setting and where that's going, since you did just increase your rates in 2013-14. So we'll look at that and kind of prepare you, I guess, to what to look for in the future, because that's important. The sewer there, the right side, $505,000 in revenue, $666,000 in operating expenses, so an operating loss of $160,000, down slightly from the loss a year ago. So again, not changing much there. You did have a huge transfer out last year, meaning 2014, which you did not have. So the overall results are a little bit better. A loss of $254,000 versus $581,000. However, if you back up to the year before, it's very consistent. So again, rates are not set to basically fund your expenditures in the sewer. That's nothing surprising, nothing we haven't talked about in the past, which again, you're addressing that currently, and each year you're going to be taking a look at that. And it's going to take some time. I mean, be patient there, but it's going to take some time before that corrects. You can see a graph there showing what I just went through. The water, again, and up and down here for some reason, and then the sewer consistently in a loss situation. Won't spend a lot of time on this, just goes through your revenues, expenditures, and the TIFs, and all the special revenue funds. Independent auditors report. Happy to report that your auditors issued an unmodified clean opinion. Again, we assist you, the city, to prepare for this audit. We prepare most of the work papers that they audit based on your city records. Joe prepares and works directly with your auditors. So certainly to get an unmodified clean opinion is exactly what you strive for. So that's excellent news. I should be proud of that. And then our opinion states that we found that your financial statements present fairly in all material respects to the financial activity of the city. So that's exactly what you hope for is exactly what you set out to do. The rest of this points out just some things, and I'll let you read through that. Just some highlights of the financial statements, general capital assets, and some additions there. Water and sewer utility goes through some fixed asset additions. Summarizes your long-term debt and the activity on that long-term debt. Total general obligation long-term debt at the end of 2015 was $2,250,962. Then it goes through some housekeeping there at the end, just with their audit report and their opinions and their communication with you. So, again, I talked to Monica, I ran into her at a training 2 weeks ago, and she said if there's any questions on this audit report as you're looking through it or any of the other reports, certainly get a hold of her. And she appreciated working with me not have to go so late in August to present this. So I think it works out better just to be more time. Any questions on that for me? Otherwise, I'm going to move on to the budget side of things.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we can do that now.
I move to accept the report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
One thing I will point out, that you just approved that, but the one thing that I will point out. Are you?
We have to find something.
Come on. Is simply two things on this page. This is the actual annual financial report. The only reason I want to point this out, doesn't affect what you just did, is simply to highlight a change. And working with your auditor, they may have brought this up. This is a change with all audits, all financial statements around the country. And this is to put for the first time, and if you have highlight there, if you see where the pointer is up there on the screen, net pension asset, Wisconsin retirement system. This for the first time is bringing on the funded or overfunded situation in the state of Wisconsin on the Wisconsin retirement system. This has nothing to do with anything else that has been previously reported. A lot of municipalities are confusing this with the OPEB and some other things. There's nothing to do with that. This is completely separate. And what this is, in a 2-minute kind of summary, is all of your participants in the Wisconsin retirement system. So all of your personal employees that have personal retirement system, a pension plan, and all their statements. So if you have X amount of dollars in all those plans, and you add them up throughout the entire country, the entire state of Wisconsin, and then you compare that number with what the state has in investments. Well, if it's overfunded, they have more investments. That's what you want. You want equal or more, because now you have money to cover that. You have an asset situation. Well, we anticipated that Wisconsin retirement system was in very good shape, and it was going to be an asset. What we didn't anticipate is how much. And part of that is because a temporary kind of a market value was increased at a particular time this was valued. So you're going to see this kind of roller coaster. You're going to see it fluctuate. It could actually go to a liability next year. But the one thing to keep in mind is the state's fully funded. And that's all you have to know. 2 or 3 states in the country are fully funded in Wisconsin one. So that is excellent news, and that's really all you have to know. The other thing to know is none of this is real money. You can't cash that in. It's simply a reporting method, which is why you take that number, your deferred outflows, which is added to that. It's simply a timing difference and a reporting issue. If you add that together, when you subtract off this small $4,000 outflow, or inflow rather, they didn't make it easy and simplistic, but you have a restricted for pension benefits of $473,000 that comes off of that because it inflated it, and you have to take it off. So this bottom line number of unrestricted is not affected by this. That's all you have to know. It'll be interesting to see, though, as a council and as all governing boards in Wisconsin, to track this, because now you'll, very transparent situation, you'll be able to see how it's doing.
But that's our portion, the city's portion.
That's the city's portion of the overfunded, so you can tell how big the overfunded was. It was monstrous. And
So at
very
some
big.
point, they're going to count that against our levy and city increase.
Absolutely not.
Oh, yeah, they'll get Madison will figure it out.
No, what'll happen is this will actually fluctuate. This year, we're already anticipating, because of the market adjustments and the markets are down a little bit, that we're going to see this number go way down, either close to 0 or possibly even a negative a little bit. Now, the thing to remember is, because it's managed, because it's handled, it's funded, Wisconsin retirement system can fluctuate the rates slightly to either go up or down. So if it continues to go up like it is, they'll hold the rate steady and they won't pump more money into it. They're covering it. If they basically start to slip a little bit, they raise rates and cover. Other states that are 30, 40% funded only have a huge liability on their participants' financial statement. That's a real liability because there is no adjusting the rates to make up 40% of the value.
That's Illinois. Illinois is like that too. I don't know how to keep it going.
So that's all I wanted to talk about there.
Be a little prejudice over there.
So,
I benefit from that.
let's quickly look back a little bit on where you're at right now and where you were. So this is the last 12 years. This green line, you've seen this before, but this green line, this is updated now for 15. This green line represents your ending fund balance. So you can see you're right here. You're back at levels you were 12 years ago, 10 years ago. And you're at a very healthy fund balance at the end of 15, $2,079,000 total fund balance. Property tax, pretty consistent, edging upward. You're at that levy limit situation. You're doing what you can. You're able to increase for borrowing, you're able to increase where you can, but you're pretty much at close to the max at this point in time. The bottom there is just the change. Rate per thousand, again, dipped a little bit because of the change in assessed value, so that does fluctuate, but again, creeping up matches pretty much the levy, but it is in the $13 range per thousand. This is a pretty valuable slide, and this pretty much sums it up in one slide. The blue line there, the purple line, whatever color that is your unassigned fund balance as a percentage of expenditure. So, again, back when I did your audit 3-4 years ago, you heard me talk about that number a lot. And the industry likes to compare that number, especially given to city councils and governing bodies, because that's really the bottom number here that generates and mirrors your cash flow. So that's your reserve as a percentage of your expenditures. This red area here, 15 to 20% is the minimum that's really considered to have a healthy fund balance. If you get below that, which you can see,
You did that.
you were there. Cash flow became an issue at times. When you get in that level, when you get to the 7 to 9, cash flow becomes an issue. That's a real event right there. Now you're above that, you're back to where you need to be. The green line is the total fund balance. So if you take away all of your assignments, all of your carryovers, take them away. That's the other end of it. That's how much you really have in total reserve. So if an emergency hit, you can take away all those earmarked funds, and you'd have 63%. The difference between those is your carryover. So in an absolute emergency, you'd have 63% of your expenditures on hand. That's excellent. That's excellent shape. That also means that where very particular projects come up, you could potentially use some of this and still be within the range of healthy, good funding. Again, what you want to avoid is this situation where from 2005-6, you just free fell all the way down to 7%. You cannot let that happen. And the good thing is you'll know about it if it's happening, because meetings like this will be talking to you about that. Whereas in the past, you may not have known that would occur. So I'm convinced that you're in a good position. You're in a good shape. The budget also mirrors that. So water, rate of return. Interesting slide here. Going back, right in this range here. Again, 2004 was your second to the last rate increase. That's right when we adjusted the rates. Boom, popped up. Right as you would expect. It actually went a little bit higher than we expected. You didn't ask for a 10% rate of return. I can't even remember what it was. I think it was 7, 8, something like that. It was a little bit higher, but it popped up above that. So your rates were set at a certain point, and for whatever reason, it actually went above that, which was okay. But then, 7, 8, it started dropping. It actually it really dropped significantly from 8 to 9, and then it kept going. And it went from a 12% high to a negative 3% in the course of a very short period of time. That's disastrous when you think about it. And then it came up for whatever reason in 2013. And I believe that was part of the rate setting in that time period. I think a partial. There's something else in there as well, though, because you have a significant increase, which happens. I mean, it fluctuates. But then something happened that was unexpected, and then it went down again. It went down to a negative. And now it came back up, but it's still less. This green bar is what you requested in 2013-14. So your rates were set and built by the Public Service Commission to get a 4%. Now, it's not an exact science. Things change, it's estimating. It can't be exact. So we don't expect it to be 4% for the next 10 years. We expect it to be close. 1.86 is too low. We have to watch that very carefully and see why that's happening. It could be simply timing, and we need to give it some time for the rates to adjust and the usage to adjust to the new rates. Maybe that comes up closer to 4. If in 16 it drops again, and then again another year after, we need to look at the water rates again. Because the rates are not working. And we also need to investigate what's going on. I expect that to come back. And we'll see what happens.
We did a lot of work too. That's what I was wondering. I thought we did a lot of work in through there. That's the drop.
John and I talked about that earlier. I mean, last year, 2 years ago was when we had the big tank issue over there. That was $100-some thousand that we ended up sticking into that.
And then all of that,
Rehabbing that
and that was not on your rate case, so that would explain a lot.
And that was the year,
Those are down now.
Correct.
Right.
so it should, like you said.
But if we look at 2015, we didn't do much improvements this last year. I would have expected to be higher than 1.86.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see what the rate, again, the rates were set at a certain point in time. If that number now is different, if the actual is now different, the rates are no longer current. But we gotta give it some time. It's too early to tell right now. If that stays flat or goes up, you gotta give it another year and see what happens. And again, any leak, any major leaks you have are gonna play into this, and they're gonna affect us, so.
We do have some leaks in our system that we're attaching.
Yeah, that is the biggest problem, the ADA.
Correct.
Keeping up with it.
Yep. Which is why we're watching it, because again, right after a rate case, you don't want it to start going down, because that's not a good sign, so we'll take a look at that and keep monitoring that very closely. Just switching to the budget performance, as of the end of May, which is the last date your activity is finalized and posted, we have the general fund. This is just an overview here, give you a taste of where you are. Budgeted revenues, total revenues for the year of 16, $3,217,000 in your general fund. The actual revenue to date as a total, $1,394,000. So 43% of your budgeted revenues are already on your books. That is about appropriate to what I would expect at this point in time. About 40% through the year, nothing alarming there as far as the total. Budget expense, $3,232,000. Actual expenditures to date, $1,400,000, 44%. Again, right in line with normal expectations. Can't really learn much from the total, obviously, but we're early. We're early in the year, so we don't want to dive too much into the detail yet, because all we'll be doing is we'll be here until midnight looking through accounts, and it's only through May. But I've got a few things I want to point out just as a watch. Here is drilling down a little bit into that expenditure, just to make a little more sense than just one number in total. You have general government. These are just these are totals that I went through. This is just the detail by function. I won't spend a lot of time on this. You can see some are over, some are under. Total is 44%. What you would expect to normally see. This one, I'm a little concerned with. We'll have to watch that. General government's 62% after 5 months, a little bit high. Part of that is what we'll talk about in a few seconds here. A big part of that actually is. The idea here is I want to get you kind of used to seeing these numbers, and then we'll follow up again in August. Now it becomes, every month that goes by becomes more important to look at this. And then the August meeting, I'm hoping to have July to July. You can make that happen, Joel. Then we'll have a really good look at 7 months of the year. Now it's starting to get serious as far as you got to start taking care of some of these and taking a look at some of the, investigate some of the ones that are pretty close. Specifics, ambulance service income, revenues, again, overall 43%. Ambulance service income is only 37% of budget to date. Tracking a little bit lower not the end of the world, pretty close, but that is a large revenue. So I want to make sure you keep watching that, make sure. Now, being a little bit of a cyclical revenue, you might see that increase more in the summer. So I'm not too concerned, I just want to point it out to watch those things. Senior center rent income was only 27% of budget. That's a little bit concerning. We budgeted a number that, working with you, trying to get an accurate number, that's tracking lower than expected, and if it continues, will be significantly lower than budget. It's not good. But that happens. It's not a huge number, it's not a gigantic number that's going to break your budget, but certainly will affect it. So.
Well, that's rentals and stuff like that.
Right.
Our rentals are down this year.
We're down on rentals this year.
Nobody's getting married. Any kids want to get married? You know, I'm going to bring my daughter.
So yeah, just keep watching that. Expenditure side, the majority of the difference, I didn't see a whole lot on this expenditure in detail. That was alarming at this point in time, except for workers' compensation. Already at 143% of budget. So you're already over budget $33,000. You're going to take that and run with that and see why that's happening. Because again, we use fairly accurate numbers for that. What we thought were fairly accurate numbers for that projection. That's also quite a bit higher than it was in previous years, so that's a pretty large increase there. So definitely look into what's going on there with your insurance there.
No, it doesn't.
Just the rest of the funds quickly here. Library, budget revenue is $205,000, actual revenue $178, so they received 86% of their revenue. Now, a big part of that is their revenues are higher than right now. Clearly, in my mind, it looks like they're gonna generate some new revenues that were budgeted, which is hard. Particularly, I'm not sure, but the revenues, they're already collecting some of the line items of 86%. Now, part of it could be the sales, part of it could be the new initiatives they have in there. Others could be it's simply higher because they received the county allotment already. So they're not going to get that much more the rest of the year. Again, we'll have to see, but it did look like he was tracking ahead, which is good. Expenses, budgeted expenses 205, actual expenditures is 800,000, so 48% spent to date, which is reasonable. Fire department, 231,000, 153,000 revenue received, that's 66%. Budget expenses 231,000, actual expenditures 65,000, only 28% spent to date. I'm not sure why that's quite a bit low, but again, could be just some major capital things that haven't been purchased yet. So again, just to give you kind of an overview, nothing that you can really do at this point other than to monitor this stuff. Water utility, again, won't spend a lot of time on this because, again, 33% of your revenue to date, that's pretty expected. That's pretty normal. That kind of proves out that that number is fairly accurate. We'll have to see later on in time here as we go. Hopefully that gets closer and gets to be more of the 40-50%. Budget expenses, $1,264,000. This is the part where I don't want to spend a whole lot of time because you look, it's only $127,000 spent. That's only 10%. But that doesn't include depreciation, property tax equivalent, or debt. Those are all year-end recorded entries. So again, not very comparable at this point. Sewer, same thing, about 35% received. So that's really close to the revenues in water. So those are tracking very consistent, which is good. Expenses, again, same thing. No depreciation or debt interest recorded. So again, water and sewer, you don't have a whole lot of control over the budget. It's not tied to the levy. But again, as you're trying to turn things around in the sewer and trying to get a handle on the water, you got to try to monitor those expenses a bit. Any questions? Or anything else as far as the budget process? The way I envision this process working is, August, I've already committed to come back and just kind of give you another update similar to this. A little bit more detail, a little bit drill down into a little bit more of the accounts that they're getting there, or they're a little bit over, they're going to go over, just so you know, and just so you can monitor that and make decisions based off that. All that does is create better decision making that will affect the bottom line and affect the performance of the budget. And also, very shortly thereafter, we'll be starting the 2017 budget. And my goal for this whole process was, when we start that, it isn't, oh, how you doing, John? I haven't seen you for a while. It's, we're already ready. we're already in that mindset, we already know which accounts we're dealing with here. This is gonna be easy, and then we can basically get to the point where you're now performance-based budgeting, where you're drilling down into the issues that, yep, that account is one we gotta watch, that account we have, and then it affects your decisions. Here's how much we're gonna stick in roads because we know how we're gonna be doing.
You said this is gonna be easy. It's never easy.
Never
We've been doing
easy.
this for 20 years, it's easy.
Yeah,
You got it. We meet the second Monday, second Tuesday of the month.
Yes.
Is that gonna be, do we need to have a special meeting like the third Tuesday for this?
I don't think so, I mean.
Well, I mean, did they have enough time to get the July numbers is all. That's what I was, that's what I
Well,
was.
that's up to you, if you can get me those numbers. I mean, I get a little bit of turnaround time, if you'd rather it be a different meeting, I'm fine with that too.
I'm fine with this meeting, the regular meeting, I'm fine with that. I'm not trying to get us an extra meeting, I'm just saying.
I think the second is the 9th.
Yeah,
That's pretty early in August.
That's pretty short.
It's a short one.
Sure, I mean, if you want to bump it back a week, we don't need to do an official council meeting, we can just do a committee of the whole
Yeah.
and do that.
Make it more of a little budget workshop.
We don't need, do we need to do anything would we need to do anything on the books, well, not on the books, what am I trying to think of? We gotta make a decision thing.
No.
Okay,
No,
cool.
that's just
Then
nothing.
that'd
Very
be
similar to what you
great.
heard.
Like I said, if you got it ready, you're ready to go, let's do it on the 9th, and now let's do it a week later, not.
Let me just check my calendar here.
And I'll talk with our insurance agent about that work count.
That's terrible,
And then,
I get a couple calls.
So like the 16th, you're thinking?
If that'll work.
Just email me a confirmation. on that.
Okay. All right.
Like I said, that's up to
I'm
you
still
two.
talking
You
anyway.
and Joel and the mayor decide how you want to do that.
Right.
Whatever's best.
Yeah, the August one is no decision making, no discussion on what to do, it's simply an update of here's where you're
Kinda like
at.
this one.
Exactly.
Okay, we'll do that.
Anything else you want me to discuss, anything as far as levy?
Did you want to talk about, I'm sorry.
Yes.
John, did you give, I'm assuming those were all slides prepared by your office, right? Have you given a copy, or could you give a copy of those to Joe?
I can email them to Joe right now.
Okay, thank you.
If you want, you need copies?
I'd like, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to get a
Right,
copy
you or
too,
can
Joe.
can I just go to,
Send them right to Joel.
Yeah, send a PowerPoint
Send them all to all of us.
okay?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we got our city emails plus whatever, yeah.
Thank you.
However you want to do it, Joel.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Did you want to talk about how we do the grants? Are we going to talk about that tonight, or are we going to?
Oh, no, we'll put that back under Rob's
All right,
agenda.
that's good. What, you just wanted to see with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Good
It's very
presentation.
cool.
Yeah.
This is, I like this. This is really nice. Or nice. whatever you want to call it. Well,
Okay, one question I would like to ask though, John brought up the water rates at 1.86%. One of the things I've been considering possibly bringing back to the Larry's committee is doing a simplified rate case, which you can do something around 3% a year on the volume, which is a real low amount, as opposed to maybe wait a few years. And I don't know if John has an opinion on that, but if it's something we should take a look at later this year, not that we're trying to raise rates, but I don't want to wait a couple of years and all of a sudden we're in a situation we can't recover from.
3% rate of return, it's called a simplified rate of return with the Public Service Commission. That is simply a cost of living adjustment. It really doesn't affect rate of return that much. It won't take a 1.8%, 6% rate of return and increase it significantly. It's simply, because again, when you adjust the rates, the rate of return is a factor of a number of different things. It's not just a percentage, like, okay, our 3% is going to go up 3%. No, it doesn't. Rate of return doesn't correlate exactly to the increase in water rates. That's why you could request a 5% rate of return tomorrow and they give you a 40% water rate increase because of a project you're doing. So it's a lot more involved than just the rate. But a 3% is simply an automatic. You either qualify or you don't. There's about a 30-second process that you go in, everything's pre-populated, you hit the button, and if you fail, you click the button and you close it, and you're done. If you pass, then you have the ability to click the button and say, yes, I want to do this. Then your rates will go up 3%, basically across the board. They tell you what to do, they tell you how to do it. But what that is simply to keep up with the game as far as increase of expenses.
And that's what we gotta do. We can't, hitting these people with 10, 15, and 20%ers, you know, it just isn't right. We, you know, if we have to do one every once in a while, do a catch-up or something, it's so bad. We can't keep pounding everybody, you know, and we all know it. I think it's something we gotta look into, you know, something we get a little bit every year instead of a lot in 1 year.
I mean, and that's what we did, we tried doing that back when we did that big increase 12, 13 years ago. We started to do that, and we did that paperwork 2, 3, 4 years in a row, and every time we did it, we were rejected. And then you saw in the graph where all of a sudden it bottomed out, and by that time,
Yeah.
we were, yeah, exactly, it was too late.
Even that 1 year it dropped, you're already too late. I mean, whatever
Right.
happened there, it was done.
Yeah.
And 3% doesn't affect any of that. You still need to go for full water rates occasionally, depending on what you do. If you never did another thing, you would get by just fine, and then eventually it would drop like that when your plant wears out, and you'd be in the same boat. So the 3%, all it does is it tries to keep up with your expenditures that increase. So when your chemicals increase and this increases and that increases, you at least keep some of that going. Otherwise, they stay flat. When your rates stay flat, so from 2004 to 2013, they stayed exactly flat. They never changed a dime. While your expenditures during that time kept going up. You could have minimized it. It's not going to change the fact it may extend it a couple of years, may extend it 5 years, who knows? But it'll hopefully minimize it if you keep up with it. And you're right. Right after a rate increase, I wouldn't expect to qualify. In fact, you can't even go for a simplified until 12 months afterwards. And at that point, then, you keep going. Every year, just at this point in time, and the best time to do it is right after your PSC report is issued, so in April, May, still do it now, it's not no penalty for it. But I would get in the habit right after that, do that, and then if you qualify, you just do it. And, you know, if you 3, 4 in a row, you know, that, you know, again, it's your decision, obviously, to do that, but it is definitely a best practice in a lot of utilities, because it simply keeps up to date. The years where you don't qualify,
Go ahead and put that on.
Yeah.
There is a
Well,
general.
at least a discussion point.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for John?
Were we going to ask any questions about the grants or we like that?
Well, just put them back on your, I mean, John and I talked, when I got out of work today, I was down here for a while, we talked about some of the items that we've got.
In that, okay.
Yeah, so.
I just had a comment.
Okay, going into committee reports. First up is Ways and Means.
First of all, I got one change for the minutes on the first line. We changed the date from May 10th to May 14th.
June 14th.
Or, June, yeah, I got the wrong one.
It's so easy doing that job.
That was a technical issue there, so
Yeah,
it wasn't a grant or
Computer.
Emmett's problem. It was Sean's problem.
Ways and Means has one meeting to report on. I move to accept the minutes as printed.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the Ways and Means Committee meeting as printed. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
To the Honorable Mayor and members of the Nekoosa Common Council, the Ways and Means Committee meeting was held on Tuesday, June 14th, 2016 at 6:15 p.m. in the council chambers at City Hall. Members present were Emmett Peterson, Garrett Kuhn, August Woyak, and Robert Schultz. Also in attendance were Mayor Al Marco, Robert Wenzel, Larry Kubisak, Rick Schmidt, and Brad Hamilton. Number 1, we audited bills. Number 2, we recommended license applications for Class B liquor, Class B picnic, Class A beer and liquor, cigarette, and operator licenses to the attached list. Number 3, we had the library report. Are there any questions? Move to adopt items 1 and 2.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve items 1 and 2 of the Ways and Means Committee. Roll call.
Wenzel? Yes.
Kuhn?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Webb?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
Krupsag? Hamilton?
Yes.
Szymanski?
Yes.
Next is Public Works. Eric?
Public Works has one meeting to report on. I move to have the minutes accepted as read.
Second. There's a motion and a second to approve the Public Works minutes as read. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
To the Honorable Mayor and members of the Nekoosa Common Council, Public Works Committee meeting was held on Tuesday, June 7th, 2016 at 4 p.m. in the Nekoosa Council Chambers. Members present were Larry Krupsack, Terry Szymanski, Garrett Kuhn, and Robert Schultz. Also in attendance were Mayor Al Marco, August Woyak, Brad Hamilton, Dale Marth, from Advanced Disposal, and Rick Schmidt from the DPW. Item 1, discuss model vacant building ordinance. 2, discuss recycling options and contract proposals. Item 3, discuss mutual aid to town of Rome Water. Item 4, recommend water leak credits for Ross Miltimore, Busy Bee Daycare, and Roxy Screens. Item number 5, recommend second driveway at 401 Vilas Avenue. Item 6, recommend CMAR report and resolution for approval. Item 7, discuss fog control. Item 8, discuss grass, brush, and garbage pickup. Item 9, discuss city permits. There's no questions, move to adopt items 4, 5, and 6.
Just no question, I know you were discussing it, but maybe no one knows what fog is.
Fast oil and grease getting into our septic systems.
Just in case people like, what?
Okay.
Second. There is a motion and a second to approve items 4, 5, and 6 of the Public Works report. Roll call.
Where?
Yes.
Szymanski?
Yes.
Kuhn?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Krupsack?
Yes.
Wenzel?
Yes.
Next is Public Safety.
On number 5, we have hire instead of discuss. Is that correct, Sean? We had one meeting, make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the Public Safety minutes as written. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The Honorable Mayor and members of the Nekoosa Common Council, Public Safety Committee meeting was held on Tuesday, June 7, 2016 at 5 p.m. Nekoosa Council Chambers. Member President Terry Szymanski, Chairman. Brad Hamilton, Secretary. Emmett Peterson. And Robert Wenzel. Also in attendance are Mayor Al Marco, Robert Schultz, August Woyak, Garrett Kuhn, Rick Schmidt, DPW, Police Chief Sean Woods, Fire Chief Mike Hartje, and Ambulance Chief Don Harnish. Number 1, Ambulance 337 returned from Black River Falls. Number 2, discussed ambulance issues in Adams County. Number 3, discussed new ambulance employees. Number 4, discussed critical care paramedic class in Nekoosa. Number 5, hired new firefighter Joshua J. Smith. Number 6, recommend deputy fire chief's positions to Jim Rowe and Jeff Bailey. Number 7, recommend allowing fire department dance August 13, 2006 at City Hall with waiving fee for park use. Number 8, recommend hiring part-time officer Zachary Roberts. Number 9, recommend purchasing laptop for $850 with data migration. Number 10, recommend spending $1,800 for ammunition purchase. Number 11, recommend replacing AC system in City Hall from Ron's Refrigeration for approximately $20,000. Number 12, recommend replacing radios for $1,200 with additional grant money. Any questions? None? 5, I recommend 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to approve items 5 through 12 of the Public Safety minutes. Roll call.
Kuhn?
Yes.
Wenzel?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Szymanski?
Yes.
Krupsack?
Yes.
Wag?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Next is Property, Recreation, and Human Affairs.
To the honorable mayor, members of the Nekoosa Common Council, make a motion to accept minutes as printed.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the Property, Recreation, and Human Affairs Committee minutes as printed. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
The Property, Recreation, and Human Affairs Committee meeting was held on Tuesday, June 7th, 2016 at 5:45 in the Nekoosa Council Chambers. Members present were Robert Wenzel, Chairman, Emmett Peterson, Secretary, Gary Kuhn, and August Woyak. Also in attendance were Mayor Al Marco, Robert Schultz, Brad Hamilton, Police Chief Sean Woods, and Rick Schmidt, DPW. Number 1, discuss outdoor recreation plan. Number 2, discuss ATV trails. Number 3, discuss business grants. Number 4, discuss dinner by the river. Number 5, discuss Pumpkin Fest. Number 6, discuss splash pad. Number 7, discuss cemetery plan update. Number 8, discuss banners on streetlight poles. Number 9, discuss future park on First Street. Number 10, motion by Woyak, second by Kuhn to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Stat 19.85, parent 1, parent E, regarding 2 properties. Wenzel, yes. Peterson, yes. Kuhn, yes. Woyak, yes. Motion carried. No action.
That's all for committee reports. Anybody have anything for old business? First agenda item under new business is the resolution to transfer the money that was received from the Black River Fire Department. Transfer that into the ambulance maintenance account to cover the body work on the 3 ambulances that are going to get work done on.
Motion.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the resolution to transfer the money. Roll call.
Hamilton,
Yes.
Webb,
Yes.
Wenzel,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Krupsack,
Yes.
Schultz,
Yes.
Kuhn,
Yes.
Samansky.
Yes.
Anything else under new business before we go to reports? First is police chief's monthly report.
Motion. Second.
Motion and a second to approve the police chief's report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is public works monthly report.
Move to accept.
Motion and a second for public works. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is ambulance department's monthly report.
Move to accept. Second.
Motion and a second for the ambulance department report. All in favor?
Aye.
Next is the fire department's monthly report.
Second.
Motion and a second for the fire department report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is building inspector's monthly report.
So moved.
Second.
There's motion and a second to approve the building inspector's report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Next is community center's monthly report.
Did we get one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moved.
Yeah.
Second.
There's motion and a second to approve the community center's monthly report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anything from the airport commission?
Yes, we got.
Yeah, we got one.
Got the agenda.
Yeah, there's no meeting minutes from May 10th.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want?
No, any discussion or anything on it?
Oh, everything's cruising along. We're working with a couple of different businesses. They're looking at us to, asking about the improvements that we're making out there, which is, we're working on a lot of different things. Airport runways, pads, different T hangars, working on the hangars that we already own. It's working. So far, we're at schedule. We had a little work on the grass. I guess the grass got a little long because nobody knew who was supposed to do it. That's all been taken care of. Other than that, if anybody's got any questions or heard anything or you know something, give me a holler. You know where I am.
A motion and second to approve the airport report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Need to do anything before we leave?
No. Just courtesy copy.
Next is bills.
Okay, we got 3 bill lists. Council meeting tonight, 5:20. Ways and Means, 250. Camera, 20. Mayor's salary, 600. Public Works, 250. Public Safety, 250. Property Rec, 250. Airport Commission, $55. Right, Brad? And Board of Review, $375.
Move to approve as presented. Second.
Motion is second to approve the bills. Roll call. Peterson?
Yes.
Wenzel?
Yes.
Krupsey?
Yeah.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Wyatt?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yeah.
Kuhn?
Yes.
Mansky?
Yes.
Anybody have anything else?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Sure.
So far, I'm not a camera guy. Yeah. I don't know what's going on.